Welcome to your practice. So today we're going to take a little look into sun salutations. So lots of you asked me for some tutorials on sun salutations. So we're going to practice that today. We'll take a little time to just talk about sun salutations, break down the movements of the sequence. So we're going to start with a half salutation, which is more or less appropriate for everybody to practice. I teach this in my chair-based classes as well, so most bodies can practice the half salutation. We'll start with that today. The whole purpose of these salutations is to really help us warm the body, to stretch out all of the major muscles, increase the mobility and flexibility in the spine, to balance out strength and flexibility, and to also just take a little time to flow the body and the breath together. So it's a nice flowing movement. The sequences are really flowing from one breath to the other as we move the body. And traditionally, these sequences would have been to really establish a sense of starting the morning, greeting the sun, and giving thanks to the sun for all that it offers to us. So it's like a little full body prayer towards all the benefits that the sun brings. So there are many versions of sun salutations, and I'm sure if any of you have Googled it, you get overwhelmed with how much response you get back, and it's hard to choose. So these are a couple of versions that I teach in my classes. They're by no means the only way to practice. Most of the traditions have some form of sun salutation within them. There are 3 or 4 classic sun salutations, and then there are lots and lots of variations dependent on the teacher, added a little bit of spice or some modified positions. So I'll teach you a couple of them today that I practice in class. Hopefully this will be useful for those of you that study with me, and for those of you who don't, I'll just give you an introduction into how I teach a little bit with these flowing movements. So make sure that you've warmed up a little bit. So sometimes nice to just begin with some cat and cow. So we'll come over onto all fours, bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Spread through your fingers and thumbs, glide your shoulders away from the base of the neck, and feel that you have a nice long flowing line in the spine and the neck, and create a solid foundation through the hands. And just starting to move with the breath, inhale as you look forward and up, rising up with the chest and the tailbone. Exhale to curl in, round the back like cat, drop through the navel. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. One more like this. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. Coming back to center, we're going to add on to that flow now, just warming up a little bit more in the body, stretching out. So we breathe in, gazing up. Breathing out, round the spine. Breathe in, come to neutral. Breathe out, stretch all the way back. Seat towards heels, keep the arms long if you can. Drop the elbows if you need more softness. Come back up, inhale, looking up. This is cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, press down through the hands, hug up through the navel. This is cat. Inhale, neutral spine. We're going to stretch back, extend a child's pose. Seat towards heels, just go where you can with it. And then we slowly come back up. So from here, we're going to step the right foot forward, and then step the left foot forward. Have softness in your knees, bring the feet about 2 fist widths apart. You're releasing down here a little bit more through the knees. We're going to roll bone by bone through the spine, slowly coming up to standing. So standing tall at the top of the mat. And as we practice these half salutations, so a couple of different ways I work with the shoulders. So the way I teach the half salutation, full salutation, is a little more of an organic roll of the shoulder. It's a little bit softer. So if you've got any shoulder injury or tightness in the shoulders, this can be a little more accessible, this method. But it's also very traditional to use much more linear movements, such as this sweeping out and up with the arms. So I'm going to just show you this movement that I use. It's just a little easier on the shoulders. So we roll the shoulders in towards each other. And then we glide up with the arms. So elbows will bend out, rooting down through the feet, and then stretch up tall. I might lose my arms off the screen here. Stretching up. And then just simply release the arms down again. So we'll try that a couple of times to get you used to the movement. Shoulders roll in, little softness in the knees. Press through the feet, rising up now. Big breath in and stretch tall. And then a nice soft circle out to release. So we'll add on to that. When we come to do the half raised up position, which is called Ardha Uttanasana in our practice, This is taking the body to a perpendicular position. So we want to keep the spine long and the neck long. And for some of you, that'll mean you've got to bend the knees a little more. So you're drawing the creases of the hips back, extend long through the heart and through the neck. We want to avoid this kind of position where we've hunched the back because the legs are straight. So if you need to, soften through the knees, hips are back, shoulders away from the ears, and extend long through the spine. So this is Ardha Uttanasana, or gazing pose. And then from there, we softly fold and release, bringing the fingers that we can reach either side of the toes, or just rest in the hands on the legs. Bow down in towards the legs. And then to release it, we're going to sit back as if in a chair. We're going to coil up the spine, press through the feet, lift through the pelvic floor and arches of your feet, slowly rolling up bone by bone. And releasing. So we're going to put those together now in the half salutation. So we start at the top of the mat. Feet are about 2 fist widths apart here. Mountain pose is a modified version. I just find it a lot easier for the lower back. So feet 2 fist widths apart and parallel to give you good spread through your toes. Let's take that arm movement now. So we're going to roll the shoulders in, gliding up through the center as we reach nice and tall. Breathing in here. Palms come together. As we breathe out, send your hips back. Start to fold from the creases of the hips. Bow down over the legs. Release the fingers. Release the head and the neck. Pressing hands against the shins. Inhale. We come up to our halfway pose. Ardha Uttanasana. Extend long through the spine, the neck. And then exhale, soft knees to fold, releasing all the way down. We're going to sink back with the hips as we inhale. Slight lift of the arches, then roll up as you exhale, lifting through the pelvic floor, roll bone by bone, nice and easy in the spine. And then we roll up again with the arms. So take this one with me, breathing in, reach. Palms to touch, exhale, hinge from the hips and flow all the way down over the legs. Hands on the shins, inhale, offer the heart forward, nice long flat spine here. Exhale, fold from the creases of the hips. Sinking into your seat, breathing in, then coil up, breathing out, slowly lift. One more reach of the arms, breathing in, and releasing the arms as you're breathing out. So you can see from these movements, just the idea of sun salutation is to create a flow. So you're connecting the body and the movement, coordinating the breath and the movement. It's very soothing for the mind and starts to bring in that mindfulness quality, be a little more conscious and aware. So expanding on that, half salutation is great. Stick with that one if that's where your body's at the moment. The full salutation that I teach, a classic hatha salutation, and it involves 12 different steps or postures that are linked by the breath. And what I'll do is just actually do one of these salutations for you now. And then we'll stop and break it down into parts and show the different poses and different modifications that you can practice if your body isn't quite able to do the full version as yet. So again, we start at the top of the mat. Breathing in on the exhalation, we bring the hands into a prayer pose at the heart. Pausing here to center our attention. Releasing the arms, we roll and rise, inhale. Keep the tailbone long and stretch back. Hinging forward at the hips, exhale, bowing down, we make a line of the fingers and the toes. Softness to the knees as we inhale, right foot steps way back to lunge, bring the knee down. Let's pause here. So we're going to sink down, let the hips release down, check the front shin straight up and down as we lift through the chest. So nice long feeling in the spine here. As we practice the salutations, we want to feel that we're lengthening and opening the body up. Then we'll tuck the toes and we'll bring it back to plank position. This is the top of a push-up, so the shoulders are above the wrists, strong feeling in the center core and in the legs. Exhaling, we bring the knees down, and then the chin and the chest, the elbows are staying close to the body. Inhale, heart moves forward, pressing away through all 10 toes in the pelvis for a cobra pose. We want to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Slowly releasing down. Press through all fours, tuck the toes and exhale. We press back to our downward facing dog position like an upside down V. Reaching up through the hips, long through the arms and the spine. We inhale now to step up with the right foot, releasing the left knee down, opening up through the chest. Stepping forward with the left foot as we exhale and fold over the legs. Coil up the spine, ground the feet, tailbone long, inhale to rise. Arms release by the sides. So I'll take that with a little more flow, less talking, so you can just see the movements, and then we'll break it down. And exhaling to complete. So you can see also that we do the salutation, we do one side of the body and then the other side of the body. So we start on the right and then we complete with the left. So let's break down some of those postures. So the first pose actually of the sequence is mountain pose with the hands in what we call Anjali Mudra. This is an important part of our practice, and we come here really to center ourselves. This is our time to get grounded and steady. It can also be a time where you can use this gesture, this mudra with the hands, to express gratitude. And I often also think it's a nice time to maybe dedicate the benefits of your practice to someone other than yourself. So there may be someone in your life who needs a little bit of TLC right now, and you can use this as a moment. Anjali means to offer. So we're making an offering as we begin the practice. Next movement is that roll and rise action. We've done that in the half salutation, so we're stretching up. As we begin to hinge forward, if I turn to the side, you want to hinge at the hips, so bend the knees so you can lengthen your spine. We always want to take care of that long line in the spine, reaching down. And when we come down, we want to make a line of fingers and toes. So even if you've got to bend the knees a lot, go ahead and do that. These are your markers. So once the hands are down, we want to more or less keep them in that position. And that helps you then move more smoothly from position to position. So we have this nice neat line now of fingers and toes. We're going to bend into the knees and then step way back with the right foot. So don't worry if you're not quite sure how far to step. Just take a big step. You can always wiggle the foot back as we lower the knee. What we want to always check for in the lunge here is that the front shin is vertical. So you have a line from the hip down to the knee. So always a line in here so that the knee's never in this position too far forward. Over the heel, it puts too much pressure on the knee. So it's straight up and down. To the best of your ability, we're going to sink the pelvis forward and down. And that may not happen at first. You may be a little further up in the pose. So just work with your body how it is today and be grateful for it. So we'll let the hips release. We'll press the fingertips here so we can create some more elevation in the chest. Just gently lifting so we get a longer feeling in the spine. Next position is plank. So here are a couple of modifications. If plank isn't for you yet, that's absolutely fine. From here, you can simply come back to all fours. So you're on the hands and the knees. Perfectly acceptable. Or you can step back to plank position. So we come to the top of a push-up. So the shoulders are above the wrists. You want to keep the navel drawing in and the front rib cage in. So we don't want to banana shape the back. So we're drawing down through the tailbone, hugging up through the front core. Legs are also strong. The heels are drawing back here, nice and long and flat with the body. Knees can come down anytime as a modified version. From here, our next position is knees, chin and chest. If you have any shoulder injuries going on when you're practicing, modification from here is just to simply let yourself literally slither down to the mat. So you're bypassing this position in the sequence. For those of you who can practice, when we come to knees, chin and chest, the elbows need to hug in. We wrap the shoulders. So the elbows will come back. They squeeze back into the sides and the shoulders go forward, landing just beyond the fingers. So we have the chin, the chest, the knees and the toes on the floor. From here, we sweep the chest forward through the hands, pausing here to ground the front of the pelvis. Point all 10 toes away. Roll the shoulders as you open the chest. This is Cobra, so we want to keep the elbows close. We don't want to be pulling up and hunching the shoulders like so. And we want to keep the elbows in, so you don't want them pressing out to the side. That's too much on the wrist. So roll them in. And even if you're just 1 inch off the floor, that's fine. Just work with your body as it is. Don't strain or stress the body. So we're opening up to our cobra pose. And then we slowly come back down. We'll press to all fours next. Keep the hands grounded. Toes will tuck. We press back to our upside down V, downward facing dog. So here, you may need some knee bend. Again, we want to emphasize the length of the spine. So stretch back. Hips are nice and high. So lift the floor of your pelvis high. Elongate through the arms. Melt the chest back towards the thighs. Then we keep nice and high with the hips here. We're going to step forward. And for most people, this is really the most challenging part of this transition and this sequence is to step forward. So we're just going to do the best that you can. We'll take a little bit of knee bend. Keep the hips high. So some momentum here. You're going to step up with the right foot. Now it may land here. That's fine. What I'd like you to do is then place the left knee down and just pick up your right ankle and bring it up to the line of the marker of the fingertips. So that left hand is then on the floor. So you just pick up your foot, or you can wiggle it. Just bring it to the fingertip line. And as we sink into the hips, we want to check again that we have the front shin vertical. So straight up and down onto the fingertips as we lift the chest. We'll just take a moment here, feel that lovely stretch in the front of the left thigh, opening up through the spine. Next is to step forward, and again you may need more than one step, so feel free to do that. You may need to just come up a little, step slightly in, and then you can step all the way up. Feet 2 fists width apart, soften the knees as you come into a deeper fold, hinging from the creases of your hips. So again, we want to avoid this hunchback situation, jam the legs straight, rounding the spine. We get the knees a little softer and get long into the line of the spine. Release your neck, release your head. And then we'll just a little bend in the knees. We're going to coil up the spine to finish our sequence, reaching all the way up. So it's Yogabelfast. Reaching tall. Keep the tailbone long toward the heels. And releasing the arms to finish the sequence in our mountain pose position. So let's try the left side. We did a lot of breaking down there, so we'll go with a little more flow. Let's try this one together. So we're on the left side of the body. Start at the top of your mat in your mountain pose. And we'll take it slowly. Don't worry so much about the breathing. We'll come to that in the next round. So we'll bring the hands together at the heart. This is your time to have a little gratitude practice, something you're grateful for today, or to make that offering again, to offer the benefits of your practice. Release the arms. We'll take that roll and rise action, nice and easy on the shoulders. Reach tall. We're going to send the hips back, hinge from the hips as we pour forward and down, lengthening the spine and make the line of fingers and toes release the head. Softness in the knees, take a big step with the left foot, and we bring the knee down. As we settle into our lunge, some things to check. Your tick list, you want to have the front knee stacked over the heel, so we check that. We want to release the hips down, check that. And then fingertips check, we want to lift up through the chest, so push down through those fingertips. Coming into our plank pose next, so you may want to go to all fours at this point, so on the hands and knees, if that suits your body better. For now, you're just building your strength. Feel a little stronger today, plant the hands, tuck the toes at the back and lift the thigh, and then we bring the right thigh beside the left. Draw back through your heels, strong plank pose here. We don't want any bums in the air, so we want the hips about the same height as the shoulders. Draw back with your heels, forward with your heart, drawing up through the belly and the ribs. Bringing the knees down now. Let's try that knees, chin, chest movement. So, any issues with shoulders, you're going to slither down onto your belly on the floor. Otherwise, with me now, we're going to squeeze those elbows back, keep them in, no wings out to the sides. Keep the belly lifted and bring your shoulders forward so they just land on the fingers, chin to the floor, chest to the floor. Let's come to Cobra. So glide the chest through, press the pelvis, point all 10 toes, roll the shoulders back, keep the elbows close. Roll back down, come to all fours, tuck the toes, press it back, downward facing dog. And again, feel free here, no need to jam the legs straight. A little bit of softness and tilt the floor of the pelvis high. Relax your neck. Now we're going to do that step through. So the fingertips are your marker. We're going to keep the right hand always on the floor as we step here with the left foot. So step up. If you make it all the way to the top, that's great. If not, step, pick up the foot, and bring it to the line of the fingers. Settle into the lunge, sink the hips, check your front knee, stacking over heel. Fingertips press the floor, lift through the heart. Stepping forward now, take as many steps as you need. Step into the top of the mat, hinge from the hips, lengthen, pour down through the spine and head. And then we're going to coil up the spine, reach up to the ceiling, and release the arms. So well done, everybody. Okay, so for those of you who want to advance on a little bit, we're going to do one more each side now, flowing with the breath. So I'll not speak through the instruction of the postures, but I will give the indications for the breath. So this is when we start to flow a little bit more with our practice. So feel free to pause at whatever point of this video you're at in your practice. And those of you who want to move on a little bit, come with me. Start at the top of the mat. We'll do the right side and then the left side. So pause here to breathe. And as we do the sequence, just going to breathe in and out off the nose. So close the lips softly now. Breathe in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale. We retain the breath from plank. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Arms by the sides. Exhale. Beautiful. Let's do one last time. So we're on the left side of the body this time. Relax with your breath. Ground the four corners of your feet. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Retain the breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Take your breath or two. Good. So well done, everybody. I hope what we've shared today with the half salutations and the full salutation will be of benefit in your practice. These are great little practices to do every day if one of the motivations for your practice in yoga is to get a little more flexible in your body. So it's a great way to start your day. Even a couple of half salutations can really make a difference. So if you've just been practicing with me for the last 20 minutes or so, I would really invite you now to just lay down, take your knees to your chest, and then into the relaxation pose, just laying down and taking some rest for your body and mind, letting your breath slow down and rebooting the nervous system before you head into the rest of your day. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I hope this was helpful. If there's anything more I can offer to you, please send your requests. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Namaste.